scurvy bilge rats, scallywags, roustabouts, etc. and so forth. Seems we've run into a bit of a dilemma. As well you know, our ship, the Unsinkable 2, is filled to the brim with shiny gems and other goodies. But on the journey home, we've encountered a mighty beast what wishes to claim all that for itself, as well as the ship and its crew. Now, all of us must set to the task of figuring out how to address this predicament. Avast, we're sinking. Unfold the game board, leaving plenty of room in the space directly below it. Assemble the ship's sails on their masts and slot these into place on the top piece of the hull. Shuffle the chest tokens face down and put 2 of them side by side into each of the 3 lower sections of the hull. Return the unused chest tokens to the box without looking at them. Then assemble the ship like so, stacking sections atop each other in numerical order. Find the threshold sheet matching your player count and tuck it under the left side of the board so that the level 1 cargo hold is the only part of the sheet that's visible. Return the unused threshold sheets to the box. Choose an enemy to play against and place the corresponding enemy sheet to the right side of the board. Refer to the setup section of the chosen sheet for additional game requirements unique to this particular enemy. Then flip the sheet to the other side and place the damage token on the damage track. It's recommended you face the Kraken on your first game and square off against the Shark when you're ready to step up the complexity, then the Sirens and the Skullsaires last. Return any unused enemy sheets and their corresponding item cards and special attack dice to the box. Whoever last went for a swim takes the first mate scroll with the duties checklist face up. Have everyone choose a character to play as and give them the corresponding character sheet and action dial, as well as a player aid card. Each player takes the character item indicated on their sheet, along with 3 clear water cards to form their starting hand. Shuffle together all the gems, basic items, any unused character items, and the enemy item cards indicated on the enemy sheet. Deal 2 of these treasures face up into the treasure column, stacked like so to maximize your table space. The game is playable with 3 to 6 players. For each player you have below 6, return 5 clear water cards to the box. So you'd remove 15 cards in a 3-player game, 10 in a 4-player game, and 5 in a 5-player game. Shuffle the remaining clear water cards together with the treasure cards to form the water deck, which you'll place face down on its corresponding space on the game board. Deal 1 of these cards face down to the water column. Take a look at the player count icon in the middle of all the cards in the breach deck and remove any that don't contain your player count. Any cards that have no player count icon are used in every game. Return the cards you've removed to the box, deal 1 minor breach face up into the breaches column, and shuffle the rest to form the breach deck. Place the deck face down on its place on the game board and stack the permanent breach tokens next to it. Place a single shot cannon card in the cannons column with a single shot die next to it. You can quickly identify which cannon dice are single, double, or triple shot by the number of bullets in the corners of each face. Place another single shot cannon in the breaches column, busted side up, along with a busted double shot and matching dice next to each. Put the remaining cannon cards and dice somewhere easily accessible later on, and you're ready to get started. You'll be working in concert with your piratical cohorts to defeat the enemy and keep the ship afloat, while simultaneously filling your pockets with as much booty as you can carry. If the enemy is defeated before the ship sinks, The pirate with the greatest treasure is the victor. Alternatively, you can hedge your bets and try to keep your pockets light, so that when the ship does sink to the bottom of the deep, you are the only pirate the one remaining lifeboat can carry to safety. In either case, only one pirate can be the winner. Each round consists of several steps that must be carried out in the order presented on the first mate's duties checklist. The first mate reads the list aloud, resolving each step in order. During the inspect phase, you'll first check the breaches column for breach cards and permanent breach tokens. For each water icon in the breaches column, the first mate deals one face-down card from the water deck to the water column. Next, check the water threshold, indicated on the threshold sheet by the arrow with the number on it. Then, count up the number of cards in the water column. If that number is greater than or equal to the water threshold, the first mate will flip the scroll to the sinking procedures side and resolve that list of steps. We'll explain that process later on. If there are fewer cards in the water column than the water threshold, you'll proceed to the threat phase. Look at the bottom of the threshold sheet to see how many water cards to add face down to the water column. Then look at the number of treasures indicated and reveal that many water cards face up. If they're clear water cards, add them to the water column. If they've a treasure icon, add them to the treasure column instead. If the treasure column ever has more than 5 cards, discard from the top down until you reach that limit. Anytime you discard a card, always put it face down. In this case, on the discard pile. Next, you'll take all the active basic attack and special attack dice and roll them. Some effects of special attack dice are explained on the enemy sheet. On basic attack dice and other faces of the special attack dice, when you roll this symbol, you'll add a face-down water card to the water column. This symbol means you'll deal a breach card to the breaches column face up. And the cannon icon means you've lost a cannon. Flip the top card in the cannons column to its busted side and move it, along with its matching die, to the breaches column. Note that depending on the enemy you face, you may not start the game with all 4 basic attack dice active. As you deal damage to the enemy, however, it will gain or lose some of these dice throughout the course of the game. During the task phase, you'll discuss a plan with your shipmates to decide who will be doing what in order to keep the ship afloat this round. Of course, in true pirate fashion, you're under no obligation to honour your word. The only thing you need be honest about at all times is the number of cards you hold in your hand. There are 4 possible actions each pirate can take, and they're all detailed on the back of your character card. We'll also explain them all when we get to resolving actions momentarily. Starting with the first mate and proceeding in clockwise order, once you've settled on the action you'll be taking, secretly turn your action dial so that the corresponding icon is visible. Then place your action dial face down in the column corresponding to the action you've told everyone you'll be taking. The column you place the dial in does not need to match the actual action you've locked in on the dial. This is an old pirate trick we like to call lying. You cannot place an action dial in an empty column, or in a column that has only permanent breach tokens and no cards. Once everyone has declared their actions for the round by placing their action dials, the first mate will request they all be revealed. Simultaneously flip all the action dials face up without rotating them or changing their column. Then check to see who lied, starting with the water column and proceeding from left to right. Move any action dial you come across that does not match its column one at a time to the bottom of the column matching its icon. So, if one pirate declared they'd be bucketing this round, but actually chose to plunder, their dial would move here. If another pirate declared they'd be patching, but chose instead to plunder as well, their dial would then move here. Once all liars' action dials have been moved to their appropriate columns, actions are resolved one column at a time, from left to right and top to bottom. When you perform the bucket action, you'll draw any card from the water column, then discard one card from your hand face down to the discard pile. If you happen to be the last player to bucket this round, draw 2 cards from the water column and discard 2 cards from your hand. If only one player takes the plunder action, they take all the cards from the treasure column into their hand. If multiple players plunder, they must share the booty as equally as possible. Starting with the player whose action dial is on top and moving down the line, each of them takes turns claiming only 1 card from the treasure column, repeating as necessary, until it is no longer possible to distribute treasure equally between them. Any cards left over stay in the treasure column for the next round. In the event that more players choose to plunder than the number of cards in the treasure column, all such cards are discarded, and no one gets anything. When you perform the patch action, you may choose to either draw a card from the water deck or discard a card from your hand. Then you'll use a hammer to do one of the following. Patch a breach by placing a breach card in the breaches column face down on the bottom of the breach deck. Note that some breaches require multiple hammers to remove. You're welcome to ask other patching pirates to assist you, but that decision is theirs to make. All requisite hammers must be used on the breach in the same round. Alternatively, you may use your hammer to patch a cannon by flipping a busted cannon card over and moving it, as well as its associated die, to the bottom of the cannon's column. Or, if any chest tokens have made their way into the breaches column, you can use your hammer to crack one of them open, placing it on the table in front of you. You needn't share with other players what the chest contains, only that it belongs to you. And when you take the fire action, you'll roll all the dice in the cannons column. For each die that rolls a skull, move the enemy damage tracker 1 space to the right. When you roll a blank, you have the option of activating that cannon's ability by revealing and discarding 1 treasure card from your hand to re-roll that die. Each player may only activate each cannon once per round. Finally, each player checks their hand size. If you hold fewer than 2 cards, draw up to 2 from the water deck. If you hold more than 10, discard randomly down to 10. Then pass the first mate scroll clockwise to the next player and begin the next round. Now let's say, for sake of argument, the number of cards in the water column is greater than or equal to the water threshold during the next inspect phase. In that instance, as mentioned previously, the first mate flips over the scroll and resolves these steps for sinking procedures. Remove the lowest hull section from the ship and move its chest tokens to the bottom of the breaches column. Turn or flip the threshold sheet such that the next level peeks out from under the game board. Shuffle all the cards in the water deck, discard pile, and the water and treasure columns to create a new water deck. If there are any breach cards in the breaches column, discard them all and add 1 permanent breach token to the top of the column. These tokens cannot be patched or removed. When all sinking procedures are finished, flip the first mate scroll back over and continue the round with the threat phase. Continue these proceedings until either the enemy is defeated or the ship completely sinks. Now, just a few more odds and ends to cover, and you're free to set sail. There are two types of treasure cards in the water deck. Gems are worth points at the end of the game, as indicated on the card. The card count icon here helps you to know how many copies of that card are included in the deck. Items grant the player holding them an ability that can be used during the game. Some of them also have a point value that contributes to your final score at the end of the game if the card is still in your hand. Most items have a condition that must be met before the ability can be used. These conditions are printed in bold before the colon that precedes the effect of the ability. When the condition is met, you may reveal the card to resolve its ability. When you're done, discard the card face down to the discard pile. You're welcome to use multiple items in the same round, but they must all have different conditions. Chest tokens may afford you special abilities as well. The cannon upgrade and extra single-shot cannon chests can be played at any time. The cannon upgrade allows you to replace a cannon card and die in either the breaches or cannons column with one that's one step up. Upgrading a single-shot cannon turns it into a double shot, and upgrading a double shot turns it into a triple. The extra single-shot cannon token adds another single-shot cannon card and die to the cannons column. The blank cannon die reroll tokens can be spent to re-roll one or two blank cannon results for yourself or for another player. The victory point chest tokens are simply worth the number of points indicated at the end of the game, and the empty chest is, well, empty. When the damage tracker moves to the last space of the track, the game ends immediately, skipping straight to the upkeep phase of the current round, where all players check their hand size. Everyone then reveals the cards in their hands and adds together the point values of treasure cards and points from chest tokens to determine their final score. Whoever has the highest total point value wins, with the fewest number of cards serving as tiebreaker. Alternatively, when the fourth and final section of the ship is removed, the game ends immediately, similarly skipping to the part where everyone checks their hand size. Then, whoever has the fewest number of cards in their hand escapes on the lifeboat and wins. In the event of a tie, total point value serves as tiebreaker. And that's everything you need to know to play We're Sinking. Best of luck with your exploits, sailor.
And if you have any questions about how this game works or suggestions on what other games we ought to cover, hit us up in the comments down below. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button and the subscribe button, it would help us out a lot. And be sure to check out our live show on Sunday nights and all our other fun content at www.bnbtabletop. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.